is Peyton St. George did not throw in that extra inning win. And was she ever good? 10 strikeouts against Georgia, giving up just 1 run.
And Peyton St. George's best pitch is her rise ball, which she only threw once to get one of those 10 Ks. And that just shows you how much she has in her repertoire to where she can get Ks with her screw, her curveball, and her curveball as well. Just lights out, only giving up 1 home run. That was the difference maker. So she's going to try to be even more perfect today.
But Georgia hurt her with the long ball yesterday, and this is just what they do. They have scored 12 runs in this regional. All but 2 of them have come via home run.
And Georgia just has that no fear mentality up at the plate. You see Lacey Fincher with the 2 home runs. Freshman Sydney Chambly getting in with the grand slam walk-off, her first postseason home run. And then the difference maker against Duke yesterday, Ellie Armistead getting the solo home run. She gets the home run change from Georgia, and they're going to come at you with that power today.
The Titanic rematch, Duke versus Georgia. Bulldogs are looking to get to their 11th Super Regionals with a win. Duke is trying to force that all-important winner-take-all Game 7. First pitch, next. The Super Regionals, and it is the freshman in the circle, Lou Harris-Champer, giving Britton Rogers the biggest start of her Georgia career.
Yeah, going with the freshman, someone who's going to throw in that mid-60s, but really relies on this rise ball. She can throw 3 different speeds with an off speed as well as a changeup that she can locate low and out from a batter. But trying to get this freshman even more postseason experience is why Coach Champer went with her today.
Here's the 9 that she will face, Marissa Young's Duke lineup. Deja Davis is going to lead things off as usual, followed by Giselle Tapia. But here's a big change. Caroline Jacobson boosted up from the 8 hole all the way to the 3rd spot. She loves the way that she's swinging the bat so far. And Christina Foreman has had herself a great tournament as well. We are underway here in Athens. Ball 1 delivered by Rogers to Davis. It is a beautiful setting for some postseason softball. Georgia wins. They are on to the Super Regionals. Duke wins. We will play 1 more. Little excuse me checker over towards 3rd, and Sykes retires Davis for out number 1.
Now batting for the Blue Devils, 3rd baseman number 29, Giselle Tapia.
Duke has struggled offensively, to say the least, so far. 6 runs, 13 hits over 25 innings at bat in this regionals.
Yeah, we've really been waiting to see when their offense is going to wake up and what the type of adjustments Coach Marissa Young has been telling them to make. This is a very aggressive offense, but sometimes a little too aggressive. In the game against Georgia yesterday, they swung at 13 at-bats where they swung at 1st or 2nd pitches.
Ripped out towards left field and just out of the reach of a diving Chambly. This is only year number 4 for the Duke Blue Devils in the ACC. And what a season it has been so far for Marissa Young, the architect of this program. This is their first NCAA tournament appearance, first regional final appearance. They won the ACC tournament. They'd never done that before in program history, edging Clemson and Valerie Cagle, who are playing for their own super regional berth today. Got her on the rise, and an early start for Britton Rogers in the strikeout column.
And it's so great to be aggressive when you're hitting, but when you fall below 2 strikes, you allow this to happen. The pitcher to take control and throw her very best pitch against you to get that K.
So now we'll see if the move pays off for Marissa Young. Caroline Jacobson hitting in the 3 hole, trying to ignite this Duke offense that has been stagnant. Took the off speed over to 2nd and easily handled by Kuma. So far, so good for the freshman Rogers. A 6-pitch first inning. And the Georgia Bulldogs bats coming up here at the Jack. Decides on Peyton St. George. Francesca, pretty easy decision with the way she pitched against the Bulldogs yesterday afternoon.
No doubt about that. We mentioned that her rise ball is that go-to pitch. She can also float that off-speed in it as well. But really bringing that two-seam fastball this season has been the difference maker, because now she's throwing at 3 different speeds. And you look at that ERA just under 2, so you know she's effective, but she's going to have to expand the zone, something she didn't do against UGA yesterday.
And looking at the Georgia lineup, one player is going to be circled in Peyton St. George's head. That's, of course, Ellie Armistead, who provided the difference in their first matchup this weekend. A 1-0 win, a solo shot by the freshman shortstop. Duke did not score in the top half of the first inning, and Peyton St. George ready to go in the circle. Savannah Sykes in the right-hand batter's box, and we are back underway at Athens. Sykes in their first matchup was 1 for 3 against St. George. Peyton St. George knows what it's like to pitch in this situation, though. The ACC tournament MVP. She had 2 wins and also a save in that championship game against Clemson.
You know, one thing I noticed, if you looked at that game, that championship game against Clemson versus how you saw Duke play Georgia yesterday, you could see a big difference in nerves into play there. They weren't playing as loose and free as you typically see Duke, and that's a big reason why their offense has been on a standstill. They're playing a little tight and not just allowing themselves to just kind of smile and be loose. And I mean, when you have someone like Peyton St. George, you see her numbers there, you can get away with it. 13 Ks, only giving up that 1 earned run. So their pitching staff has kept them in the ballgame, kept them going this far. But the adjustments need to be made, and they need to try to relax a little bit more.
And that certainly got a piece of Sykes. And she'll head down to first. So the leadoff hitter is on here for Georgia.
See St. George kind of dancing around outside of that plate, and this screwball rise combo gets away from her, and it hits Sykes right in on that elbow wrist area.
Never a way you want to start things out, that's for sure. Especially in an elimination game. For Duke, a chance that they can go all the way to the Super Regionals with a win here for the Bulldogs. Checked out by the athletic trainer Connor Tidmus, and Sykes will stay in. So she's on first now for Sydney Kuma. She was also 1 for 3 against St. George on Saturday. Not a whole lot to write home about offensively for Georgia, just that 1 run on 5 hits against St. George. But for Duke, even less, no runs, just 2 blemishes on Mary Wilson Avant's hit column. And that was it. She threw a complete game 2-hit shutout to take Georgia into the regional final.
And you know, I mentioned that in this game, St. George is going to want to try to expand that zone a little bit more. And you might think, well, she had 10 Ks the other day. What do you mean expand that zone? She was still humming it, 70 miles per hour. So you had a lot of late swings and misses, but still the 5 hits. So Georgia, when on time, they were able to get a hold of it. So when she has those 2 strike counts, or excuse me, 2 strike counts, a 1-2, 2-2, try to just go into the river, try to go upstairs a little bit more so that you're not getting those excuse me swings, or maybe those base hits that just dump in. Use that spin a little bit more and just don't rely on your velo.
Lou Harris-Champer knows a thing or two about playing in the postseason. Her 21st year at the helm. 19th straight NCAA tournament berth. Played such a difficult schedule, too. Look at that. Number 6 strength of schedule. And Peyton St. George takes down Sydney Kuma for out number 1. They were scuffling, though, Francesca, heading into this NCAA tournament. Lost 7 in a row. They felt a lot lighter, though, when we talked to them before the tournament began. It just seemed, Lacey Fincher specifically, who's up right now, seemed like they had really put the end of the season in their rearview mirror.
They said there were a lot of positives in those losses, and I love that type of mentality. Even though we lost, there was positives to it. But the biggest thing was hard for them to mentally rebound. How do they bounce back from all those weekend losses of those series in the SEC? And they constantly would review videos and try to find those positives. How can we get better in 30 days? And you have to credit the staff for keeping that type of positive energy up and letting it trickle down to your players.
Well, it certainly helps when you have Lacey Fincher swinging the bat that she is right now. She homered twice in their first game, a win over Western Kentucky, run-ruled them 11-3. And then for Georgia against Duke, Fincher was 2 for 3. She has really gotten that swing back. So important for the Bulldogs.
You always feel a little bit better as a team, as an offense, when your number 1 player is getting hits, right? If you see that your best player is struggling as well, you kind of think, oh, well, if she's struggling, maybe I'm going to too. But when they're on, you just want to be contagious with them.
Fincher at one point was hitting 460 back at the end of March. That number now up to 347 after going 4 for 6 in the regional, but before that, she was 2 of her last 15. So if that tells you anything, it is as Lacey Fincher goes, her Georgia Bulldogs usually follow. Hitter in the box, but home plate umpire Cameron Ellison is saying not so fast. You didn't make much of an effort to get out of the way of that one.
Yeah, and I think Peyton St. George even pointed down like, hey, no, that she was in the batter's box when she got hit. She was floating her elbow out there, and she surely was. As you see, the home plate umpire was calling it. St. George making sure that he did get that call right. That just kind of shows you early on how many emotions are happening right here. Just a heck of an at-bat right now from Lacey Fincher. One of the best players for Duke, challenging the best player for Georgia right now in Fincher. 7th pitch of this at-bat, just fouling off her screw and her rise. Would not be surprised right now if Torres is telling St. George, let's go with that off speed. See if she'll chase it.
7th pitch of the at-bat now coming up from St. George to Fincher, with Sykes leading off of first. If you're just joining us, she was hit by a pitch to begin the game. But then a Sydney Kuma strikeout for out number 1. One reason for Lacey Fincher's success, she just puts the ball in play. I mean, the regular season, she drew 39 walks to just 19 strikeouts. And this is a power hitter, too. What an at-bat.
Such an incredible at-bat from Lacey Fincher. You had St. George went back-to-back changeups against her. And Fincher did not even bite. She stayed strong and was able to read it out of the hands. And if I'm a pitcher and I see that one of their best hitters does not bait at one of my best pitches, I have to try to do my best not to overthink that.
And now Sarah Mosley, who is nothing for 3 against St. George. Mosley, a second-year starter at third base, the sophomore out of LJ, Georgia. Well, that certainly helps getting ahead, 0-2. Can't ask for much more from a regional final. ACC tournament champions Duke, the always gritty Georgia Bulldogs on the other side, making 4 Women's College World Series trips in program history. That is skied out towards shallow right. Jacobson, plenty of time to camp underneath it for out number 2. It's 100% capacity here at Jack Turner Stadium. Been a great environment for softball. So excited after not getting this opportunity in 2020 to be in Athens and watch some postseason once again. Maybe not so comfortable for the players down there, though. 88 degrees on the field at the moment.
I mean, both these teams are from the South, so they're definitely used to playing in the hot humidity. I mean, honestly, too, like the feel of the weather right now just feels like postseason. So if you're a veteran, you just kind of relish in that heat. I mean, I know, I certainly did. It just always like smelled like postseason.
What does postseason smell like? I'm wondering, because we kind of personified postseason last night. So what smell are we talking here?
Smells like winning. That's what I would say.
That's what you hope it smells like, right? When it's all said and done. Kearney rips it into center, and it's over the head of Morris. Sykes scores easily. Fincher to third. Ribby double. Kearney, the freshman, produces Georgia's first run.
And we talk so much about the home run power that Georgia has, but this time being situational. Getting on base with a hit by pitch, following up with a great at-bat from Fincher in the walk, and then Kearney taking advantage of a low rise ball and able to get her barrel on top of it. That situation is all set up by quality at-bats before Jada Kearney steps up and comes up clutch for her team to place the first run of this game for Georgia.
If Georgia's going to have postseason success, which they obviously already have, 2 wins against no losses, it's going to have a lot to do with the bottom of this order. A lot of freshmen. 4 freshmen towards the end of this lineup. One of those, of course, is Jada Kearney. This was a unanimous top 10 freshman class coming into this year. And Sydney Chamblee is another one of them. Got to dip her feet into the NCAA tournament waters in her first game, a walk-off grand slam to run rule Western Kentucky. Nice stop by Torres, another freshman.
Stop by the catcher, Torres. The pressure that a catcher has to put on themselves to be a wall back there when there is a runner at third base. And if you know your pitcher's going to throw a ball possibly in the dirt, you remind yourself, be that wall. Allow my pitcher to throw this best pitch and have confidence in me keeping it in front.
Chamblee did offer, according to Cameron Ellison behind the plate, 2-2. Member of the SEC all-freshman team, Sydney Chamblee, out of Dallas, Georgia. Had 8 triples this year, tops in the SEC, and 1 behind the national lead entering the NCAA tournament. And she elevates that one to left, but it's right at Jackson. So Peyton St. George does limit the damage, but the Bulldogs strike first here at home. A win, and they are on to the Super Regionals. 1 in the books. So far it is the Bulldogs on top by 1, but Duke's offense coming back up to the plate, and we'll see if they can respond here in Athens.
What's in your wallet?
12th inning, the reason Duke is still alive against Western Kentucky. Christina Foreman in a scoreless game singles up the middle with 1 out. Then an error by the third baseman, Sanders. Jacobson is safe. Kyla Morris punches one into the ground, and here's where it all changed. Smith, the catcher, overthrows her first baseman. 2 runs score and the well opened up for the Blue Devils. An RBI ground out off the bat of Giselle Tapia, and then it might have been a swinging strike, but it brings in the fourth Duke run as Davis slides across the plate, and that was more than enough for Shelby Walters, who threw 130 pitches in her 12-inning complete game shutout of Western Kentucky. What a way to win an elimination game, but then, Francesca, you flip it on its side and say, I don't know, that takes a lot out of you, and we'll see what Duke has left in the tank, because remember, they have to win 2 games, not 1, to get to the Super Regionals.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly takes into effect that emotional, mental aspect of your body, but it's postseason, so if you're gonna rise to this occasion, you gotta rely on that adrenaline, and you have to tell yourself, my season might be over if we lose. If I have any ounce of doubt that flashes through your mind as a player, then yeah, you are gonna be on that losing end. So you kind of have to push through that uncomfortableness factor if you wanna be that winner, and you tell yourself, I am not tired, I am ready to win, and I am here to compete pitch by pitch.
One thing to factor in is that even though it took 12 innings yesterday, we're talking a scoreless game going into the top of the 12th. Duke has never trailed in program history. Of course, their first NCAA tournament appearance this year, but they've never trailed in an elimination game, and now they are down a run already to Georgia. We know this is an offense that is more than capable of putting up runs when they are firing on all cylinders, but unfortunately for Marissa Young, that has not happened here this weekend. And they're facing very different pitching, to be completely honest, with Britton Rogers in the circle. Good start there with the walk to Jamison Cavell.
Yeah, but to your point, Alex, Duke came into this regional playing some of their best ball offensively. They led the ACC in doubles with 77, only having 1 though this weekend. They've only had 2 extra base hits, only 2 players with an RBI. The bottom half of the lineup as well has only gone 2 for 30. So they have been silenced, and the biggest thing is they haven't figured out adjustments.
What adjustment would you like to see? I mean, I know it's early on against Britton Rogers, but we didn't see great swings in the first trip through the lineup, though, with that caveat.
I mean, the biggest thing is Jamison Cavell did it right there for me, being able to take more pitches and force Britton Rogers to throw him. You have to tell yourself, too, as a batter, you're going up against a freshman. And I used to always tell myself, you can beat any freshman. They're new to this stage. They might be able to break. So you have to have that stronger mindset over her and understand what your pitch is.
Runner was on the move, but Bolin fouled it off.
And even putting runners in motion, something we didn't see very often, if at all, this past weekend, is putting those hit and runs on, putting those run and hits, as it actually possibly looks like she got called out for leaving early.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Caught out. Yeah, looks like she left early on that, and so now that eliminates the base runner that Duke had.
Wow. And that's one hop over to the shortstop Armistead for out number 2.
Even something right there. This is a mental mistake made by Cavell. You have a hit and run on. Yes, you are amped up. You're excited to possibly get to second base, maybe even score. But before you can get there, you have to take care of job number 1, and that is leaving on time.
We just had not seen this from Duke this year. They played such clean softball. Such a great run through the ACC tournament as well. They had to take down Louisville, Florida State, and then Clemson in the championship game. Those are no easy feats. And it's surprising, to be honest with you. And you wonder if that's just NCAA tournament inexperience. You could see 13 national seed in front, but until you're there, you don't know what it's like.
I completely agree with you. I think we're seeing the inexperience of postseason here for Duke and them just pressing so much when they're used to playing just so much more free, so much more at ease. But this bigger stage is kind of getting to them.
When you played in your first NCAA tournament, Francesca, what was it like? How is it different?
It's just so loud and scary, and you definitely feel like you're out of your element. My first time being in the postseason, that I felt that was playing at Texas A&M, a very loud stadium. And you feel very shell-shocked, and I remember we had a rain delay after 2 innings, and we all gathered up in a locker room. We were just like, whoa. And you felt that type of inexperience. You felt like you were in enemy's territory. And that was a huge lesson that I know I learned, that I didn't ever want to feel that again, and that I would be more prepared the next time I was there.
And maybe that's a little bit where the quirks of this year with the 20 predetermined sites and Duke not being one of those selected, it factors in. You're in enemy territory. You're at Georgia, even though you're the national seed. And if you're home in Durham, who knows? It could be that intangible that makes the impact and the difference. Waited on that off speed as Foreman flies it out to center, and Landrum tracks it down. Duke ends up going down in order despite the leadoff walk by Britton Rogers. Blue Devils off the scoreboard. Bulldogs trying to add to their lead. Presented by Capital One. We have already seen plenty of parity this year in the NCAA tournament. 7 losses already by national seeds. Duke and Clemson out of the ACC are trying to be the first team to make the Supers in their first tournament appearance since 2009. Both have to win twice today. That's the important part. And then I don't know if anybody can get someone out in the Norman Regional. It is home run happy right now with Oklahoma and Wichita State. I mean, 13 combined home runs in 5 games. That's lunacy right there. 17 in the regional alone, and we think we've seen a lot. Georgia's hit 4 by comparison. So here is what's at stake. If Georgia wins, they only need 1 today. They go to their 11th Super Regional. Duke has to win twice once again, and they have to defeat an SEC team on their home field to do so. No easy task. Bottom of the Bulldogs lineup now against Peyton St. George. It's Peyton Bordeaux to lead things off. Ellie Armistead, who hurt St. George in that first matchup. The only run, a solo shot. And CJ Landrum to round things out for the Bulldogs. This is always such a great day, Francesca. There's no other way to put it. I mean, we are going to crown 15 teams into the Super Regionals already. 1 is advanced, Virginia Tech, out of the Tempe Regional. 15 to come, though. And we're about to find out who in Athens, and they'll match up against the Gainesville Regional. South Florida and Florida are still alive there. If UF wins their first game, we know that whoever comes out of Athens will face them.
I think Beth Moen said it best. It's the party everyone wants the invite to.
Bordeaux is swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Peyton St. George. And no score in the second inning down in Gainesville. You can catch that one over on ESPN2.
See St. George collecting her second strikeout of this game, going with her curveball. And she's just so deceptive with all of the spin that she possesses. But these last 2 games, we've seen a little bit more velo, and I feel like that's why Georgia's getting more barrel on the ball than you typically see a batter facing St. George. So she continues to expand that zone and focus more on spin than her speed. She's going to have more Ks like that.
Well, Peyton St. George has been relying on that inside a two-seamer, that is. It's a little slower. It throws the hitters off, and a lot of times, I mean, you'll think, Francesca, you blow someone away, that's sexy. That's what you want to see, right? But take a little off, put some spin on it, it makes it so much more difficult on the hitter.
Yeah, I know we got the opportunity to talk to her and ask her what's something that you worked hard in the offseason with. And she said, implementing this new two-seam fastball that I have. Everyone knows I have my rise ball, but now that I can try to change a different spin and with a different speed, it gets these hitters guessing. So that two-seam fastball comes in just a little bit slower than her normal rise ball. But then she also has her changeup that she can locate down and away from a batter. So you're talking about 3 different speeds for a batter to try to get on time with, and at the same time recognize the spin.
Smacked out towards center. This is easy, though, for Morris. And there's the second out.
And not to mention, St. George said that she's also spent a lot of time in the weight room this past season. She really wanted to focus
might even be
on
an understatement, Francesca. 4 times per week.
Yeah, and there's like a method to the madness, right? One day she's lifting heavy, then the next it's more agilities, then it's more flexibility, and then cardio. But that's her winning process. Those are things that she needs to do to feel ready. And this is I love this graphic right here. You see the strikeout numbers going up in her career. In 2020, 66, but in 2021, 196. And that all just comes down to such incredible preparation and understanding what she needs to be successful and having her coaches back her up on it, understand what she needs and supplies it.
Also remember, 2020 was a truncated season, probably would have been much higher by the end of the year. But you saw an average in her first 2 seasons of right around 100. You make that jump to almost 200 now. I mean, that's monumental. 2 times the amount of Ks. Landrum could not hold up, and there is the 3rd strikeout of the game for Peyton St. George. Much better for the lanky righty for Duke. Georgia down in order in the 2nd. Regional will match up with the winner out of Gainesville, and right now that is between the 4th seed Florida and USF. That game scoreless in the 3rd inning right now. You can see it over on ESPN2. Georgina Korick already has rung up 5 Gators hitters. That was a classic in the first matchup, which was the first game of that regional. Korick went the distance, but Florida just barely survived. Hannah Adams with the game winner. And here in Athens, it's Georgia and Duke with a 1-0 Bulldogs lead. And that's punched into center field for a base hit. Leadoff man on once again as the freshman Torres delivers.
And one difference I really want to start seeing from Duke is riding the momentums that are right there in front of them. You get that lead-off player on, at this time with a single, the last time was a walk, and you got to back your player up. You have to take advantage of every opportunity when you get a runner on base. You cannot waste it. You're playing with 21 outs, make the most of it.
Now here is Cameron Jackson, who was demoted from the 3-hole all the way down to the 8th spot, so you know that she has that potential, she has that pop. And we'll see if she can finally harness it just a little bit more than she has already here in this Athens Regional. Just 2 for her last 23, but in this situation, you're certainly thinking sack bunt with it being so early on and with Georgia already a 1-0 advantage. Well, swinging away that time.
And the the ball perfectly placed in between the rails
can't
there.
get much more stuck than that.
That's a good wedge in there.
It can't be so easy to
no,
pop out either. Let's see.
I know, I'm curious now.
Well, he's not going to try to push it forward, right? Because then it goes back into the field of play.
Man, if I was Britton Rogers, I wouldn't be able to take my mind off that ball up there. I would just be staring at it.
Little pop into shallow left, and the running catch made by Chambly. Throws to first. Torres safe. I think the ball might have hit her as they were trying to get her doubled up at first base.
And this is just a great hustle play all around. Jackson doesn't really hit this ball hard, but it looks like it's going to drop. And you have the left fielder Chambly chasing it down. A great first step. And you had Torres, who was on first base. She had to be in a safety zone. So if that ball fell, she could easily get to second base. And if it didn't, she had to retreat back. And that's a good backup from the pitcher Rogers to make sure that she was there to get the ball in case that throw did go errant.
Now here is Kyla Morris, who is responsible for Duke being here in the first place. She'll bunt it down the third base line. No shot though, and that's strike one. Morris hit it about the least amount possible. It was just a dribbler right in front of the plate, but she used her speed, chopped it right into the dirt. An overthrow by the catcher for Western Kentucky, and 2 runs came in to score. Duke ended up getting 4 in the 12th, and as they say, the rest is history. And there is Sarah Goddard coming in to pinch run for Torres. Another bunt. It's off of the glove of Fincher. Goddard goes to third, and Morris dives into second. A miscue by Georgia now.
And these are the adjustments that we've been waiting for Duke to make. Get the ball on the ground. Georgia was last in fielding percentage in the SEC. They do not play clean defense. So you have to put pressure on them and force them to make a play, and they couldn't come up with it that time. And you have your first rally now if you are Duke. Runners in scoring position, 1 out. Make the most of this moment if you're Duke.
Fielding just 9:54 coming into this game. That has been the big issue with Duke down the stretch. They've gotten better. Associate head coach Tony Baldwin telling us earlier that they're working on it. It's improved, but at some point we've seen that it did come back to bite them, and now things are a lot more difficult here for Britton Rogers with second and third. The go-ahead run in scoring position, 1 away.
Coach Tony Baldwin had said in the break of the week that they had between the SEC tournament and regionals, they focused a lot on situational defense and making big plays in high-pressure situations, and that was it right there. Unable to come up with a clean throw, and you give Duke an edge right here.
Deja Davis looks at ball 2. The last play officially scored
from Deja Davis.
Last play officially scored a sacrifice and an error by the third baseman Sykes on that throw.
And I was just saying, that is a great take by Deja Davis. That is a rise ball, Rogers' best pitch. And if you lay off that low rise, you tell that pitcher that you're not easily baitable on that.
Davis golfs it over to Sykes, and she redeems herself, 2 away. It is ironic, though, that 2 of the biggest momentum plays in this tournament for Duke traveled maybe a combined 6 feet.
I mean, but that's what Kyla Morris was trying to do. She is that lefty slapper. She's trying to use the ground, play small ball. Now, the frustration comes with an at-bat like Deja Davis. You have a 2-0 count. You are only focused on your power tunnel, where your pitches are. You cannot swing at a changeup 2-0 that is down in the ground.
Now it's up to Giselle Tapia.
And when I say that power tunnel, it's meaning where does that batter hit the most pitches successfully? Where on the plate does she have the most high probability swing, the high probability chance of hitting that ball solid? And that off-speed low on the ground is not that high probability swing.
Such a killer for Duke as well, because, I mean, you couldn't have drawn it up any better with 1 out and 2 in scoring position for Deja Davis. She's in the leadoff spot for a reason. She's an all-ACC first teamer dealing with a knee injury, and if it wasn't for that, she'd be the starting shortstop, as well as, according to Marissa Young, an All-American and a potential Player of the Year nationally.
And I don't doubt that whatsoever. We've seen flashes of greatness from Davis this weekend. That knee injury she had, she even stole a base with it. Just a lot of guts out there.
1-1 right back off of Rogers. Normisted has no play, and Duke's tied it.
You see, Georgia's going to call timeout to make sure Britton Rogers is okay, because Tapia smoked this one right back up the middle. This was going to see green all day, and Rogers blocked it, but at least gave Duke the advantage to tie this ball game up. And probably the hardest hit that we have seen from Duke with runners in scoring position all weekend.
It's one of the hardest hits we've seen all weekend, to be honest with you, from Duke. I mean, take away runners in scoring position, the swings do look different. And we were talking about it all throughout that Western Kentucky elimination game that Duke ended up winning in 12 yesterday, Francesca. The swings just, they seem tight. They're not free-flowing. They're not swinging at the pitches they want to be swinging at. Today, it's a different story.
And that's why I feel like that 12-inning game was so important for them, because once they got to the 8th inning, they had to make that mental check-in of, all right, we've already gone past this. We've thought that we are going to lose this ball game many a times, but yet we are still here. That says something. So that amped their confidence up and allowed them to put more into every inning, more into each at-bat. Because when you feel that success, it gives you that gives you more confidence for you to keep going.
Jacobson, nothing for 1 today for the Blue Devils against Britton Rogers. Duke hoping the rally continues. Again, they have to win 2 against Georgia. Just getting to Game 7 will not put them, of course, into the Super Regionals alone. And there is an alert Giselle Tapia taking second base.
Yeah, you had a first and third place situation on there, and Georgia just not even want to mess with Tapia, allowing her to get to second. They're focused on just getting this batter Jacobson out.
First stolen base that Georgia's allowed in this regionals. Hitters count now here for Jacobson. Could not hold up.
I mean,
Now Jacobson in her first game against UNC Greensboro, the big blast This is one of the hardest hit balls for sure of the weekend for the Blue Devils. Off the scoreboard, it was all that they would need to advance to the 1-0 game. Fell to Georgia in a 1-0 shutout and made it out of the losers bracket to the regional final.
That hit feels like it was last weekend, forever ago. Not only was that probably the hardest hit that we've seen from Duke, but definitely the farthest.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The only home run that they've hit so far, at least the furthest that's been in between the white lines.
We can get that detailed with it for sure.
Jacobson tags it down the left field line. It's fair. 1 run scores for Duke. And another, a 2-run single off of the bat of Caroline Jacobson. Marissa Young's a genius moving her to the 3-hole.
And we've been talking all weekend on how hitting is contagious, and this starts by Kelly Torres up at the top of this inning, getting that big, loud single, and the rest of the offense following suit, and Jacobson is the one that comes through in that clutch moment. Doesn't have to be hit super hard, but just gets enough barrel for it to fall through. You have runners who are in motion, and they are gonna take the lead in this first elimination game, or excuse me, regional final game.
You're not wrong, though. It is an elimination game. Duke loses, and they're done. So they do have to get to Game 7. This is a great start, though, giving Peyton St. George a little bit of cushion. Jamison Cavell, hot shot over to Armistead. What a play by the Georgia freshman shortstop. It gets the Bulldogs out of the third, but not before Duke takes a 2-run lead in Athens. NCAA softball regionals presented by Capital One. Well, an eventful first 2.5 innings, to say the least. Georgia got on the board in the bottom of the first. Jada Kearney, the freshman, coming through with a ribby 2-out double over the head of the center fielder Morris. That scores Sykes, and it's 1-0 Bulldogs, but not so fast. Second and third, 2 outs. A line drive up the middle off of the bat of Giselle Tapia. It hits Rogers. It scores Duke's first run. And then here's the big blow by Caroline Jacobson. Put it exactly where she needed to. Runners on the move off the crack of the bat with 2 outs. 2 come in for the Blue Devils. And it is 3-1 Duke. The 13 national seed very much still alive here in this Athens regional. Some run support now for Peyton St. George. He did give up that 1 run so far, but just worked a scoreless second in 1-2-3 fashion. Top of the order now to Savannah Sykes, and she's hit for the 2nd time today. Last time that happened, she scored Georgia's only run.
So you can see the frustration right there from Peyton St. George, because she believes that Sykes once again put her elbow out in the middle of the plate. I mean, with someone like St. George, she wants to challenge those hitters inside with that rise ball.
Certainly pleading her case to home plate umpire Cameron Ellison, but she will not win that argument. And now here is Sydney Kuma.
I mean, offenses surely support or plan for that when you know you're facing a pitcher that wants to come in high and tight. You're not going to get up on that plate, but you're not really going to get your body out of the way. Especially when we talk about what do you have to do in postseason to win, you get on base any way you can, whether it's going to be a hit by pitch or walk or a single. Now, I'm not saying you look to get hit, but if that pitcher is going to challenge you there, why not?
Duke has not led against Georgia until now. It was a 1-0 shutout loss in the 1-0 game, forcing them into the loser's bracket. It's a very different feeling, but already a hit by pitch and a walk from St. George to start off the third.
Now, this is very uncharacteristic of St. George right now. And I think a big reason why she gave that walk to Fincher is that she's a little amped up from the hit by pitch from Sykes. A lot of those pitches that she missed were missing high. So when you see pitchers that are missing high, you know that they're trying to power through and trying to force the pitch to get to where they want it to go versus just trusting your stuff and let it work.
Marissa Young talking over things with the entire infield, but if there's anybody better in the country to learn pitching from, I'm not sure they have better accolades than Marissa Young. 3-time All-American pitcher at Michigan, was the 2003 Big Ten Player of the Year. Went to a couple of Women's College World Series. We know what she can do on the field and what she did, but she told us she's interested now in making a name for herself as a coach. Talk about what my teams are doing. And they're trying to make their first super regional in program history here this afternoon. So Lacey Fincher with first and second here, nobody out. Sykes on second, Kuma leading off of first after the pitch. Fincher walked her first time up. St. George certainly pitched her carefully, but Fincher fouled off a lot of tough pitches.
Well, before going into a matchup like this, when you're a pitcher, you look at that lineup and you circle one player and you say, this one player will not beat us today. We will not give her anything that she can get her hands extended. And Lacey Fincher is that player for Georgia.
Jammed her over towards first, and Bolin reels it in foul ground.
And St. George has to remember what that pitch was like right there. You give up that hit by pitch, then a walk, and then you get one of the best hitters out in this lineup. Ride that feeling.
So 1 out now for Sarah Mosley. Great stop by Torres. You know, you'd have to think that that last at bat gave St. George a lot of confidence after the hit by pitch and walk. Correct me if I'm wrong, Francesca, but it just seemed like St. George executed exactly how she wanted to in that AB.
No doubt about it. Just showing us how she can quickly shut her emotions off and just stay pitch by pitch.
Mosley takes one to deep center. Forget about it. Georgia back on top.
We said it in the open. Georgia, no fear mentality. Who cares if they are trailing? Who cares if they just gave up the lead? Because one swing of the bat gets them right back into it. And you know off the bat, this was that no-doubter. Peyton St. George knew it was out of here in a hurry. Take another look at this home run. This is outside, elevated, and Mosley just needs to get on time. You saw St. George's reaction, put her glove on her head because it just got out of here in such a hurry. You can just see her. So much emotion goes into that big home run, especially after you gave up the lead the inning before.
Peyton St. George coming out here with 1 out in the bottom of the third. Georgia's retaking the lead on the 3-run shot from Sarah Mosley. Also known as the workhorse, will take the circle now here for Duke. back in her home state, playing in the Athens Regional, someone that really needs to keep the ball down, and she's done it so far this regional, Francesca.
Yeah, she goes with that drop ball, bottom of the zone. In that 12-inning game yesterday, she produced 26 ground ball outs. Only gave up 2 walks and was just so effective by utilizing that drop ball and changeup combination.
Here's Jada Kearney. RBI double her first time up against Peyton St. George. This game has been turned upside down, though, off of the bat of Sarah Mosley with that 3-run home run, giving Georgia the lead once again. I mean, the line for Walters is just nuts. A 12-inning complete game shutout, giving up just 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, and 1 walk. I mean, it's just, it's nutty. 130 pitches that she threw last night against Western Kentucky. With the season on the line, mind you.
She had told us earlier that she was focused on trying to bring up her mental toughness more in the offseason. That's what she was preparing for, practicing for. And, you know, we had asked her after the game yesterday, do you feel like that helped you a lot during this game? And she had said, not necessarily that moment, but it came in the ACC Championship Series. She didn't felt like she played her best, and that was a huge learning moment for her, to not let that moment get bigger than what it is and to be able to stay with her process. And that is why she is able, after throwing 12 innings yesterday, to come into this moment right there and strike out the first batter she faces.
Well, you know this isn't what Marissa Young was looking for, hoping that maybe Peyton St. George could give them 7. It hasn't happened that way, and now it's going to be up to Shelby Walters. I don't know what more you could ask of her, how good she has been so far. Walters also started the first game of this regional as well against a UNC Greensboro and gave them 5 shutout innings before Peyton St. George locked down her 5th save of the year, throwing 2 hitless frames herself.
And this is a 1-2 combo that they've been using all year. Coach Marissa Young had said that she loves to have them split games. If St. George can't do it, then we bring in Walters. If Walters can't, then we bring in St. George. And both of them thrive in that save role, in being in that saving position. And they want to be able to pick each other up as well.
And if Duke can advance to that winner-take-all Game 7 by winning this one, Peyton St. George has only thrown 54 pitches. You know that she's more than capable of coming back out. Things don't always go according to plan, and Marissa Young is learning that in the NCAA tournament. I mean, how many times, Francesca, do we see plan B, plan C?
I just kind of felt that Peyton St. George was forcing the issue just a little bit too much, understanding what this game means. And kind of what Shelby Walters told us was playing bigger than the moment, was playing up with that moment, as opposed to trying to keep her heartbeat down and stick with what she knows best and letting her pitches work. And you have to credit Georgia's offense, being able to make those adjustments pitch by pitch. You know she has such a great rise ball. Well, how do you hit a good rise ball? Learn to hit her screw and her curve. And that's what they were able to do.
Peyton St. George right now over in the private area of the dugout with Rain Wilson, one of her best friends on the team, their star third baseman who suffered a career-ending knee injury in the beginning of March. Trying to get her mind right once again as that one's punched into left field. But the closeness of this Duke team is something that they talked about when we had conversations with them before this tournament started, and they love to have fun. They love to be weird together, and they are hoping that, that translates. And then there's Peyton, obviously leaving the field earlier, getting some high fives, but not happy with herself at all.
Well, it's hard not to be frustrated and angry with yourself. You put so much pressure. As a pitcher, you put a lot of pressure on your shoulders, and everyone is staring at you. And when you give up a big blow of a home run like that, everyone just looks at you in that circle about one of the biggest mistakes that you've made. And that is tough. That's a lot to ask of a player, especially a young athlete playing college softball. And you just got to give them their moments. Let her go to the bathroom. Let her try to gather her emotions up, because the moment she does, she's going to come right back out into the dugout and probably be the loudest cheerleader for Shelby Walters right now.
That one foul at the plate. Duke season very much still alive. They do need to beat Georgia, but when you get to Game 7, all bets are off. One little mistake could change everything, and there is Peyton. She has taken her time back in the dugout now, and as you mentioned, Francesca, cheering on one of her other best friends, Shelby Walters.
And each one of these athletes are so competitive. That competitiveness just kind of like leaks out. So when you see a player react with emotions, it's because they have such high standards for themselves, and they care deeply about supporting their teammates and being able to give them a shot to win.
Slow chopper over towards short. Cavell handles and throws. That gets Peyton Bordeaux out, and the inning done for Georgia. We'll talk with Duke head coach Marissa Young when we come back. Young, and coach, in the third, you plate 3, you take the lead, maybe a little bit of the offense feeling a bit better at this point. What's the mood like in the dugout, after you score those runs?
Great. We got ahead, and unfortunately we let some runners on with some free passes, and they've gone ahead. But we've been here before, and this team's going to do what they do best and just keep fighting.
Coach, Shelby Walters pitching 12 innings yesterday, bringing her in right now. How much gas does she have left in the tank?
She's throwing harder today than she was yesterday, which is pretty incredible. Goes to show how prepared these pitchers are for postseason. Really proud of her, and hoping she can keep us in this ball game so we can get more runs on the board.
Yeah, I think that's your answer right there. Coach, thanks so much. Really appreciate the time.
Thank you.
4-3 Georgia. 3-run home run by Sarah Mosley. The difference right now as we go to the top of the 4th. Already a very different ball game than the first one we saw between these two teams. A 1-0 shutout. Georgia over Duke. Blue Devils got through Western Kentucky. It took 12 innings last night. An exhausting, grueling game for them for sure. But they are here and swinging the bats much better against the Bulldogs. Here's Sydney Bolin to lead things off. Got jammed out towards short, and Armistead gloves for out number 1.
I'm just going to say this. Duke loves that first pitch. They just love swinging at that first or second pitch. And when you take a look at their, I talked to Coach Bloomer about this, their hitting coach, and he had said their batting averages are just so much higher when they're able to attack early in the count, that he's okay with seeing them be aggressive on good pitches, because that is how they're able to get those hits in. But the stress on the good pitches, it's what's key. And when they were facing Mary Wilson-Avent yesterday, they were chasing a lot of pitches out of the zone when they had more at-bats to play with, or more count to play with. So even though it might be a little frustrating to look at them swing at that first and second pitch and get those easy outs, that is how they find the most success when they're swinging.
That's off of the glove of Armistead and into center field. Base hit for Christina Foreman. But I think Armistead nearly had it, and Foreman is holding her right shoulder in pain.
Now you see Foreman getting her hands above that rise ball and shoots it over the head of Armistead, who just almost caught that just out of her reach. Almost looked like Foreman took a funky swing on it. That's why her shoulder's rubbing her shoulder.
Now she'll stay in though, and here's Kelly Torres. Hit her first time up, came around to score the first Duke run. Chopper over to third. Sykes Takuma off of her glove. A couple of defensive miscues hurt Georgia back in that 3-run third inning, and there's another one by Sykes. Sykes or Kuma will have to figure out who this error is on.
Well, you see this throw from Sykes.
Oh, that's got to be on Kuma, right?
It's not right on the money. Yeah, it's not right on the money, but it's catchable. But the problem is Kuma steps towards Sykes before the ball gets to her. So she steps to her left, the ball takes her to her right, so she cannot catch it.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty good throw from Sykes. We'll have to see how it's officially scored, but we know that Cameron Jackson's now up with 2 on and 1 out. Yep. They gave that one to Kuma, E4, and that's the second error already for Georgia. Jackson sends one deep left, tracked down by Chambly as she bangs into the wall. Both runners retreat. This is some freshman out in left field for Georgia.
I mean, that ball looked like trouble. It had so much carry off of the bat. You weren't sure if Chambly was going to track it down, but she took a great route. And the reaction from her freshman Britton Rogers afterwards was even better. You see she opened up with her glove side, was able to get the catch up against the wall, and look at Britton Rogers saying, "Atta baby, way to back me up."
Fellow freshman there in the circle. Chambly said in the fall it was really like drinking from a fire hose, but that was an understatement. She was a little overmatched her first fall in college ball, but just kept getting better and better little by little. And she got a lot of confidence from being home during the winter break. She was around a really supportive group, her friends and family, reminding her, hey, you've done this your entire life. This is nothing you can't do. And then she drove in 6 runs in her first 2 collegiate games. I guess it worked.
Yeah, and Coach Tony Baldwin had said if there was someone who maybe was a surprise with how well that they've played, it was Sydney Chambly. And just because she worked her way into this starting lineup, just having that great attitude and the work ethic that came with it allowed her to see so much success. And then even Britton Rogers, Baldwin had said she's been trending in the right direction, probably one of our best throwers late in season right now.
Now Morris keeps the at-bat alive. These freshmen have just made such a huge difference for the Georgia Bulldogs. Something Coach Baldwin told us, you have a feeling that they're going to be really good when they step on campus, but to see it all come to fruition and that your thoughts and insight actually match what happens in reality, that's a really rewarding feeling. Rogers, once again, just 1 strike away from getting out of this top of the 4th inning unscathed. There's a good look at all the freshmen on this team here for Georgia. 4 of them at the bottom of this order.
You see Britton Rogers not liking that pitch that was originally called from pitching coach Lindsay Fico, who's in the dugout calling them. She wanted another one. Let's see what it is.
Chopper got into left field. Here comes the runner home in time. She slides and touches home plate. Christina Foreman scores all the way from second on the little flare into left.
I mean, what a big time hit from Kyla Morris, just punching this ball. You can see Coach Lou Champers trying to see if this was going to be a close play at the plate. And she just gets enough of it to lift it over the head of the shortstop, Armistead, who makes a great throw, but Foreman gets around the tag. You can see she goes right around her, almost looks like it tags her on her shoulder, but the home plate umpire has the best view, and he said it did not meet her shoulder.
What a slide by Christina Foreman. She is impressed in so many ways this regional, playing a flawless second base, made the play of the game and of the season for Duke on a ground ball with a runner on third for Western Kentucky that would have won the game. She popped it up with her hand, caught it, and then threw to first base anyway. What a bunt, this time by Davis. Bases are full. This is Duke softball.
Just taking advantage of what your defense is giving you, and Deja Davis puts the pressure on. She sees that they've made 2 errors. The reason why this Duke offense is able to score is because of the initial error earlier in this game, and she surprises the corners and lays down a beautiful bunt. And Georgia has to call timeout to try to settle their nerves down right now.
They are sticking with Britton Rogers in the circle with this a tie game, 4 apiece. In the top of the 4th, bases loaded for Giselle Tapia. Duke absolutely has its mojo back, though. Georgia's helping him out, there's no question. Already made 2 errors, all 4 runs across for the Blue Devils are unearned against Britton Rogers. Lifted out towards left, and that's out of play.
I mean, so much just happened in that inning, Alex. I don't even know what my scorebook looks like, but I mean, I have to bring up that slide from Foreman. You only had 1 chance to try to be safe in that moment, and she executed that slide by perfectly. Those are those little things that you practice and you hope that you can make it happen in a game when the game's on the line.
So for Duke, Kelly Torres leading off of third, Morris on second, and Deja Davis, great speed over at first base. 1-2 the count on Tapia, who had a ribby single her last time up, stole a base and scored.
So far, Britton Rogers keeping the ball away from Tapia. The last time Tapia was up, she was the one who scorched that single right up the middle that hit Rogers. So she wants to make sure that Tapia does not get extended whatsoever, keep it away, try to produce a lazy fly ball out.
Tapia rips it deep right off of the top of the wall. That's going to clear the bases. A 3-run double, Giselle Tapia. Blue Devils softball at its finest.
If you are a Duke softball fan, well, they have officially arrived in this Athens Regional. After all of the tightness that they have been playing like these last 2 days, they have showed up and showing us in the nation who they are. Tapia getting a pitch that is in her power tunnel and crushes it off the wall, and the missed play by the right fielder Landrum allows that ball to scoot by her and clears the bases for a huge padded lead for Duke.
Just as quickly as Duke fell behind, they are back on top A 3-run lead here in the top of the 4th. What a different game than the first one between these two teams. That 1-0 Georgia shutout seems like a distant memory for Duke. And now, Francesca, they're showing why they're the 13 national seed. We were wondering, would they back it up? Would we get to see the best of Duke at some point this weekend? They finally arrived.
We even said it before this game that we felt like maybe the inexperience, the lack of postseason experience was coming into play. But, you know, I hate to sound like a broken record. I really believe that 12-inning game was what Duke needed just to shake those nerves off, and remember what it's like to just play the game of softball and compete.
And Tapia was like 2 feet away from a grand slam there.
Well, right before she hit that pitch, I was saying that Britton Rogers was staying away from her. And unfortunately, that last pitch was a mistake pitch. It was right down the middle, more like middle in and elevated. And as a lefty power hitter, that's right in her wheelhouse.
Well, credit Duke after that 12-inning marathon yesterday against Western Kentucky that was so mentally taxing you can't even imagine. Especially with the fact they didn't score until the 12th inning. Then they put up 4 runs. They've come out on fire and they don't look any worse for the wear. Jacobson offered. But the Blue Devils A-OK with how that 4th inning went down. 4 runs, giving them the 3-run advantage. Here as we take one more look, just a little half swing. Yes, she did. Let's go to the 4th. Lou Harris-Champer, and Coach, obviously not the way you wanted to see the top half of the inning go. And another error, and all 7 runs so far unearned. How do you clean up your defense? What's the message as you get further and further along in this game?
Well, that's the key. Defense wins championships, plain and simple. And we just got to keep working, stay in the process, and really fight for what we want.
Coach, your offense was really prepared for Peyton St. George. How do you quickly make adjustments off of Shelby Walters' drop ball right now?
Well, that's the key. You know, we just have to settle in and work on the approach that we have worked on for her and just stay in the moment.
All right, Coach, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, to the bottom of the 4th we go. Bulldogs very much still in this as they come up to the plate. And a lot of cushion now for Shelby Walters, who again threw 130 pitches in a 12-inning outing last night. And it was last night. Things ended right around 9 p.m. Eastern time, and then this quick turnaround to a noon start. But Duke has to win 2 just to get to the Super Regionals. 1 win for Georgia is enough. Ellie Armistead will start things off now for the Bulldogs. Peyton St. George started for Duke, lasted just 2 1/3. And then Shelby Walters has come in, gotten the final 2 outs in that 3rd inning, and now starts fresh here in the bottom half of the 4th. In the hole, second base. Foreman gloves it, but doesn't have a play over at first. Leadoff infield single for Armistead.
It looked like she had a chance with that great angle, diving angle that she was able to take. But that transition between ball to glove wasn't quick enough. This ball's hit hard from the freshman. And beautiful dive on that angle. But you got to come up quick with it. And I mean, I'm talking about trying to make the play perfection, okay? I'm just trying to be a perfectionist here because Foreman's amazing.
Number 3, Jaden Field.
just to make that close is incredible in its own right. And now a pinch hitter, Jaden Fields. The freshman stepping in for CJ Landrum. Swinging at the first pitch, fouls it away. Jaden, the younger sister of former Georgia and Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields. You may recognize that name, 11th overall pick by the Bears. She moved into her dorm at Georgia the day that Justin packed up his to head to Ohio State. Parents divvied it up and they were on opposite sides of campus. And she rips one out towards right field, tracked down by Jacobson for out number 1.
I mean, great job for Shelby Walters to quickly get that pinch hitter out in Fields, but if you are Georgia and you're coach Lou Champer, you're able to bring in a pinch hitter off of the bench and almost gets a base hit. That just shows how much depth they have in this lineup and how many tools they can pull when it's needed the most.
And now back to the top of the order, we go to Sykes. She doesn't have a registered at bat yet in this game. A couple of hit by pitches. Rips it past a diving Foreman. Armistead heading to third. The throw from Jacobson, not in time.
And I just love this aggressiveness from the freshman Armistead here. She's at first base, and this ball gets right by the second baseman Foreman, and she is thinking 3 the entire way. The moment this ball was hit, she told herself, I gotta be on third base, and it was the hustle of that mentality that got her there.
And an excellent slide at that, which pushes her to third base with just 1 away now for Sydney Kuma. Fly ball should cut the deficit to 2. Sometimes in this regional,
ball,
Francesca.
I was going to say fly ball, yeah, it can, but don't forget, drop ball pitcher and have all those 12 innings that Walters threw yesterday, 26 ground ball outs.
That's a pretty good ratio right there. 17 strikes, 4 balls.
Even if you don't know numbers well, that makes sense to you, because it makes sense to me.
But to play a Blue Devils advocate, you could also be too much around the plate, right? You want to be a little effectively wild. Kuma sends it fair down the right field line. Easily scores Armistead. Sykes to third, and Georgia cuts the deficit to 2.
Kind of exactly what you said, Alex. You want to be a little bit more wild so that they just don't get lucky when they swing. And this wasn't much luck. This was recognizing the changeup and keeping your hands back on it. You saw that stutter that she took in her legs, but she at least was able to keep her weight from middle to back and execute on that change.
I'm just curious, Francesca, did we leave Athens? Is this the Athens Regional that we've known throughout these 3 days? It was starved for offense, and now it seems like every hitter's getting on.
I mean, it kind of makes sense though, right? I mean, this team has already faced each other once. It's a potential elimination game for Duke. So everyone is throwing everything out there. And if you want to compete, if you want to win, adjustments need to be made. Duke has finally made those offensive adjustments. We know Georgia can hit. We've seen the power, but this game, they've been going station to station and executing.
The Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City. The action beginning Thursday, June 3rd at noon Eastern, live on ESPN. For more information on the 2021 WCWS, NCAA.com, your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. And now Walters will deal with Lacey Fincher. And if you make one too good here, we could be seeing another Bulldogs lead. Gets away from Torres. And Georgia's within one.
Well, you've heard me say it. Coach Lou Champer-Harris said it. Defense wins ball games. You have to make the routine plays every opportunity you can. And obviously it's tough for a catcher. Torres back there, she's getting every single pitch of the game. But you gotta make this catch. This is a rise ball. This is going up in the zone. And you know it's going up there. You gotta get your legs up there and catch it.
And they are going to put Lacey Fincher on. Second time that she has been intentionally walked in this regional.
And for two reasons you're putting her on. One, she's one of the hottest hitters in the lineup right now. As you can see, she giving a message to the on-deck batter, Mosley. But at the same time, if you're Duke, you're setting yourself up for a force play. You're giving yourself more opportunities to get easier outs, whether it is to roll the double play up the middle, third base step on third, go one, especially when you have a pitcher that just feeds ground balls to the defense. It just makes a little bit more sense.
I mean, that's all well and good, right? But Sarah Mosley just did a 3-run homer. What's she thinking in the on-deck circle when she's seeing Lacey Fincher put on intentionally? Francesca going through her mind, it has to be bring it on at this point, right?
I mean, yeah, even if she didn't hit that 3-run home run, you still get slighted. You still take offense to someone getting walked right in front of you. Anytime that happens, you've got to kind of put your nose down and remind them, look what I can do. Look what I did my last at-bat. I took your other player deep. Now, this time she's facing a different pitcher in Walters, who's only given up 2 home runs this season.
Yeah, that drop ball really killing her right there. And not only the movement, but it's coming in at 69 miles an hour. I mean, you have to make that decision so early. And it just dropped right off the table.
And then she can even follow up with that changeup that comes in around 55.
Mosley pounds it into the ground. Cavill steps on the bag, not in time, and everybody's safe. Bases loaded for Georgia. Oh, they got her at second base. I thought I saw a safe side, my mistake. So they did get the runner at second there.
And that's why you walk Fincher for a play just like this. So you know if you're the shortstop, Cavill, all you have to do is step on the bag, and she does so and gets that out easy. If you don't walk Fincher, then you don't have the ability to get that easy out.
And so now it is up to Jada Kearney. So it's a fielder's choice, 6 unassisted as Lacey Fincher is down for the second out. Kuma moves up to third. Kearney has an RBI double already and a strikeout.
I'm glad you're sticking to your scorebook, because I'm kind of close to giving up and just going off stat broadcast. Which it's so great. I love seeing the responses from the teams. Each time the other one takes a lead, the other one says, no way, hold on, we're still here to play.
I love, Francesca, that today is the one that you're going to give up on the scorecard and not the 12-inning game last night, when I think you were off your scorecard, weren't you?
I was off the scorecard. I had said, I was like, oh, in the 11th, they're going to win because I don't have any more room. But that one was a little bit more clean for me to stay up with it. Not as much offense happening like this game.
Yep, basically no offense, actually. Kearney off the fists, and Cavill's got it. Bulldogs get a couple back, though, and the Duke lead trimmed to just 1 through 4. Huge top of the 4th here for Duke. What a hit by Kyla Morris, just dunks it into left. A couple of runs coming across to score. And then the big blow a couple of batters later, Giselle Tapia. Just a couple of feet from a grand Grand slam, it clears the bases, 3 more in. Duke at the time took a 7-4 lead. It's been cut after 2 Georgia runs to 7-6. And the Bulldogs are making a change in the circle. First time this weekend that we will see the senior Lauren Mathis.
Now, Lauren Mathis, you're going to see a lot more spin from her than her counterpart, Britton Rogers, who had more high velo. She's going to work in and out, loves to go with her rise ball. She can locate it very well on the arm side. So if you're a righty batter, it's going to come up and in at your face, lefty up and away. But she's going to be on the top of that strike zone with that rise.
That's elevated out towards right center, and no issues on the track down by Landrum. Jamison Cavell, the first out here in the 5th against Lauren Mathis. 55 strikeouts and 44 and 2/3 innings pitched. She's allowed just 30 hits so far.
Sydney Bowling.
So there's Jaden Fields, who takes over in right. The new center fielder is Jada Kearney. She shifts over from right to center, and Fields is in there for Landrum. You got all that? So one away and nobody on here as Marissa Young looks on. She was telling us in between innings, it's pretty hot down there. As Bolin rips one into right field for a base hit, that is. And, you know, you do start to wonder, Francesca, is there a point in this game, or if they can win Game 6 and get all the way to that winner-take-all Game 7, that fatigue does start to become a huge factor for the Blue Devils?
I mean, I think she answered that question for us, and that was when we asked her, how is Shelby Walters staying mentally tough? She said, that's what we prepare for all off season, is to get to this moment. You train those 6 a.m. workouts, the moments where you feel like quitting on those conditioning, and you have your team that picks you up, that keeps you fighting, keeps you rowing together. That prepares you for moments like this when you have to play that doubleheader elimination game.
That's lifted by Foreman out to deep left, and the park won't hold it. 2-run shot, Christina Foreman, and Duke back on top by 3.
Just what a complete offensive shift from what we've seen from Duke as she gets the water from her teammates there. You weren't quite sure off of the bat if this was going to be a home run, but I think Christina Foreman knew it was, because she just stared it down. Take a look at this. Stares at this monster of a bomb. Now, Georgia has a short porch, only 190 down the field, down the line. As you can see, Lauren Mathis unhappy with giving up that 2-run home run, but that was gone.
That is Duke's first home run since the first game of the regionals, when Caroline Jacobson did it against UNC Greensboro. That's got to feel good. And also for Christina Foreman's bat to get going a little bit. She's been incredible in the field, now producing at the plate, and such a difference already today. 9 runs to just 6 in the first 3 combined. That's out to left, and Chambly dives down for it.
You just feel so much more confident in the circle when you know you have your defense there backing you up. That is the second diving catch that the freshman, Sydney Chambly, has made this game. And this one actually looked like it might have fallen, but not with Chambly out there. Just an incredible first step each time, and sacrifices her body to ensure she has her pitcher.
I mean, this is why I'm sure fans around college softball were hoping and praying this week when they saw the draw that it would be Georgia and Duke in the regional final. this is so high level. It's ACC versus SEC. It's a chance at the regional final. As that one sent over towards first. Cameron Jackson grounds out to Sykes. One of these teams is going to the Super Regionals. They're both playing at the top of their game right now, and it's Duke by 3 through 4.5. Welcome back to the NCAA Softball Regionals presented by Capital One. In Athens, our regional final is set. You know the teams well. Georgia, the 13 national seed Duke, playing on their home field at Jack Turner Stadium. It has not been an easy route for the Blue Devils, especially having to play on Georgia's turf, but they've made it here, and the Bats have woken up. They have a lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Alex Perlman, Francesca Anea, so excited to be with you as we will send one of these two teams to the Super Regionals. For Georgia, it would be their 11th in program history. Duke had never been to the NCAA tournament before this year. So they are trying to keep rewriting the record books. Georgia wins 1, they're in. Duke has to beat the Bulldogs twice. Georgia is absolutely no stranger to big wins, though, here on this field. Oklahoma came in for a doubleheader, ranked the #1 team in the country, a 40-game win streak, and it was snapped in extra innings by UGA. Sydney Chambly gets into one to deep left center, and Georgia's got another home run here this weekend, the second for Chambly.
One of the great things about postseason is that you start to see those players who know how to step up in the big moments. And freshman Sydney Chambly is telling us she is one of them. Her second home run, this one off of an off speed. This hung up in the strike zone, and she was able to keep her hands back and send it out of this ballpark, left center field. Only the 3rd home run given up by Shelby Walters all season.
She had not allowed a run the entire NCAA regionals before today, but she's given up 3 in 1 2/3. And the one thing you just have to consider, how much of that is fatigue? Throwing 130 pitches. You're asking so much of her last night in that complete game, 12-inning shutout. Oh, and by the way, look who it is. Peyton St. George re-entering now for Duke.
And Coach Marissa Young had said that Shelby Walters was throwing harder than she was throwing last night. And that's definitely adrenaline that's driving her. And you see that she gives up that big home run, so you bring in St. George back. And for a great reason, in the sense of, yeah, you got to win this game right now, but you're also slightly looking ahead towards game 2, knowing that you're going to have to need Walters and you need St. George confidence, her mentality to be a little bit higher than it was when she got taken out of this game. So why not bring St. George back in, try to get her to gather her thoughts, have a stronger mentality and game plan, and allow Walters to rest. So then you can have that strong 1-2 punch going into that possible game 2 if you're playing for it right now.
Don't miss a minute of the action from the NCAA Softball Regionals, taking you the best live action. It's regional final Sunday. Head to the 7 Innings live show on the ESPN app. It's every game, every big moment on the road to the Women's College World Series, only on the ESPN networks. And with so much action today, that is your one spot to go to. Well, in the 3rd, Peyton St. George had a rough go of it. There is no doubt about it. Maybe the umpire getting in her head a little bit on that hit by pitch from Savannah Sykes. Then gave up the 3-run bomb to Sarah Mosley. That put Georgia into the lead. And St. George was done, or so we thought after that. Not pleased, to say the least, as she headed into the dugout, and now she has gathered her composure and back in there to start off the bottom of the 5th inning.
And it's not like St. George wasn't throwing well, or her pitches weren't moving. It's just she was just too much in her head, trying to force her pitches to work, trying to go way more velo on it than just trusting her spin, and staying with her plan, staying within the moment.
If you're joining us and you haven't watched a lot of softball, you're thinking, how is Peyton St. George even allowed to re-enter the game? Well, that's the beauty of the sport. You can come back once. So St. George pulled, Shelby Walters entered, now she's out, and Peyton St. George retakes the circle for Duke. If you're just joining us and you're looking for LSU and Louisiana, we'll get you there when we are finished in Athens, but you can head over to the SEC alternate channel to watch the start of that one and the regional final in Baton Rouge. Mosley jammed this time, and it's the first baseman, Bolin, with the call and the catch. Peyton Bordeaux will head back to the dugout, the first victim of Peyton St. George. That's got to be a good one, right, Francesca? Feel really solid to get that first batter after the last one you faced hit a 3-run shot off of you.
Yeah, and I think she just needs to keep winning these little moments. Just try to face each batter, every batter that you're facing, try to win each pitch, just like she did right there. That is an incredible low rise ball. She gets the first pitch, easy foul ball out. And when you're collecting those little wins, those little moments, it just feeds into your confidence.
Armistead pops out to Tapia there.
See, look at where that pitch is located. Up, that spin continues to rise up. It's so hard for a batter to try to make an in-swing adjustment, and St. George knows that, and she's gonna stick to that rise ball more often.
And here is Jaden Fields. She came in to pinch it for C.J. Landrum, put a good lash into one on a line drive to right, and then stayed into play right field. We are seeing her in action for the first time this weekend. Fields is still looking for her first hit since going 3 for 5 with 3 runs driven in that game that ended Oklahoma's 40-game win streak. I mean, we all watched it, Francesca, and saw Fields absolutely star in the biggest moment, and you were kind of wondering, where has she gone? That's in the hole and into left field. Well, we know where she is right now, and it's at the Jack, providing some offense for her Bulldogs.
I was just gonna say, she must have heard you, trying to show you, hey, I'm right here. I'm still here. Being able to stay short and get through it.
And the lineup turns back over to Savannah Sykes. One run in on the solo leadoff shot by Sydney Chambly.
And this is going to be the biggest moment right here for Peyton St. George. She struggled facing Savannah Sykes, gave up those 2 hit-by pitches, and then walked right after, then more hits. And so that is where the wheels started falling off at the top of this lineup.
Lifted out towards left. That's in there for a base hit. And the beat rolls on for the Dogs.
I mean, St. George was trying to be very careful to Sykes, and she goes with back-to-back off-speeds, but too elevated, because I think she's still a little bit too much in her head. So you can see her catcher Torres trying to calm her down a little bit right here. She has 2 outs. All you need is this one big pitch to get yourself out.
And Peyton St. George had so much confidence going into this regionals. And honestly, she has no reason to have given any of it up. She threw those perfect 2 innings against UNC Greensboro first time out, and then the first game between Duke and Georgia, she gave up 1 mistake. It was a solo home run to Ellie Armstead, and that was the difference in the game. But at the same time, Francesca, she knows that she's gotten the Bulldogs out. That's not a question. And you'd imagine through her mind, she's just trying to get that confidence back. But it's easier said than done. Kuma, a strikeout and a walk against St. George earlier.
That's just such a pretty off-speed right there from St. George, coming in at 51 miles per hour. You know, her last few changeups are coming in around 48, 49. And sometimes changeups can actually be a little bit too slow, where the player has enough time to recognize it.
Another one gets away from Torres, and both Bulldogs runners move up.
I mean, it's tough what Kelly Torres is being asked to do right now. Peyton St. George and Shelby Walters are 2 different MOs. You go from a spinny, hard velocity rise ball pitcher to a hard throwing drop ball pitcher 3 times in the game.
Kuma goes oppo. Now can't find space between the white lines.
So as easy it is for us to kind of look at Kelly Torres and say, hey, you got to make that catch, you have to remember that she's trying to get her own timing and her own rhythm with all the different pitchers that are coming in.
Officially goes down as a wild pitch. Tough play for Torres, there's no doubt about it. It's just a very difficult position to play, though.
Yeah, and they don't usually give those catchers as much credit as they deserve. It's so easy to look at that pitch that she drops and think, oh, you got to have that. No, there's a lot of reasons that go behind that.
Kuma delivers into center field. 1 run scores. Sykes around third. She crosses the plate. We're all tied up here at the Jack in Athens.
Georgia just will not go down quietly. You just have this feeling that they are always in fight mode. A rise ball that does not rise enough, and the hesitation from the center fielder not to get it in time. I'm not sure why Morris does not throw that ball. You got to anticipate as a defender where you're going to go if the ball gets hit to you, and that type of hesitation shows me you're not ready, that you don't want that ball.
These Bulldog bats have certainly gotten to the ACC Tournament MVP here in the regional final. 1 win for Georgia, and they are going to the Supers.
You just kind of get this feeling right now, if you're Peyton St. George, the only pitch that she feels comfortable throwing right now is her off speed. Georgia is on her rise ball. They're seeing it out of her hand. They're getting their barrel on top of it. That's why you're seeing her throw a lot of those off speeds. That's back to back right there.
So is that just getting the timing from seeing her so much in this game and yesterday?
100%, but at the same time, I just don't feel that St. George's rise ball's biting enough as we normally see. Like right there, that's a great rise ball. But Fincher's disciplined in her approach. She doesn't chase it. So then normally, as a pitcher, you have to bring it down another level, go with that low rise ball. But Georgia's plan is perfect, and they're attacking that.
And he cannot make his mistake here to Lacey Fincher. Oh, what a cut on the 50-mile-an-hour off speed.
I liked her reaction afterward. Just kind of took a breath and was like, ooh, I just missed that. Look at her face after she swings at this beautiful changeup. Ooh. Yes.
You got me.
Knee to the ground. Love that.
Payoff upcoming to Fincher now with Kuma, the go-ahead run on first. We are right back where we started in Athens.
I think Lacey Fincher might win for the most beautiful swing of the weekend. Even when she swings and misses, it's just so beautiful. Just love her length in her legs, how much she uses her entire body.
Out towards right, the park will hold it as Jacobson takes it in, but not before 3 cross the plate for Georgia. A solo shot for Sydney Chambly. This, a difference maker, Francesca. Georgia, Duke, knotted at 9. Going for the kill here, tied at 9 in the top half of the 6th inning, and they will bring in the 5th-year senior Mary Wilson-Avan, who has been nothing short of spectacular this weekend.
Yeah, the workhorse for this squad. Someone who can throw every single pitch in her arsenal. Has a great off speed that she can collect some strikeouts on. But when she faced Duke yesterday, only gave up a couple hits. And Duke was so unbalanced off of all the different pitches that Avan has.
Kyla Morris, the first batter. Well, you certainly know that Avan is going to be well rested. This is what she's used to doing, has thrown 2 games already. 1 complete game, 12 innings. That ERA, absolutely stellar. And she shut out Duke yesterday. But in all fairness to the Blue Devils, they are swinging the bats very differently right now than they were just about a little less than 24 hours ago. Doesn't feel like 24 hours ago, I'll tell you that much.
No, it certainly doesn't.
That's probably what happens when you play 26 innings of softball in one day.
Just gotta love it though, all the softball on TV. Just get to hang out on a Sunday and watch this incredible offensive performance from both teams.
Waved on and missed there by Morris. It's 9-1-2 for the Blue Devils. Morris, Davis, and Tapia, whose offense has come alive in the 3rd through 5th inning, scoring all 9 of their runs. Right back to Avan. 1 away.
It's crazy to think that when these teams faced each other yesterday, it was a 1-run ball game. Now we are tied up 9-9. That is just crazy to think the difference of what 24 hours can do for both of these squads.
It's just been a seesaw battle, though. It's 1-0 Georgia after the first. Top of the 3rd, Duke scores 3. And then Georgia comes back with 3 of their own to retake the lead. Duke scores 4 in the top of the 4th. Georgia scores 2. Duke scores 2. Georgia scores 3. And the only question is, I think, who's going to score last? It feels like that is who's going to win this one.
Nice. Very much so. Whoever's going to score last will be the winner. You can count on that.
Davis looks at strike 2, went with the off speed at 56 miles an hour. Davis, the junior out of California, 1 for 3 today, single and a run scored. It's a bunt attempt, so you do have to watch out for her speed.
And she goes right back to that off speed. Both of our pitchers today loving that changeup as you see Coach Lou's reaction to it. Take another look at where this pitch misses. It's pretty elevated. Obviously, it's close enough to where you want to get that call. And a lot of the times you react that way just to show that umpire, hey, we know that was close.
Oh, blew her away there on the rise.
Just the tenacity of the senior Avant coming in and shutting down one of the deadliest hitter in this lineup, going with the rise, perfectly located in the upper right-hand part of that quadrant. That is a pitcher's pitch.
So Avant has come in and promptly retired the first two batters she's faced, and here is Tapia. Francesca, how do you attack someone like Avant with such a variety of pitches that she can throw in any count?
Well, you just got to pick one pitch, and you have to find out what that one pitch is that she wants to throw the most of. Because there's always one that they favor. You can't have like all six working at once. I say you can't have it. I mean, yeah, that can happen, but the likelihood of it is very, very slim. So you have to see what is the pitch that she's going to favor the most, and then that's the one that you sit on. And then you also have to figure out what counts are you working with. So when you have that 2-0 count, that 2-1 count, yeah, you're sitting on what your pitch is. You're sitting on that power tunnel. But when you have two strikes like you do, now the mentality shifts to, okay, I know she likes to throw a changeup to try to get batters out. I know she likes to go upstairs. Do you crowd the plate, maybe choke up on the barrel so you can stay short? These are all little tiny adjustments that need to be made.
The 1-2 is ripped into left center field, and Chambly got another one!
Well, the freshman Sydney Chambly making a case to be on some Sports Center top 10 plays in this game. This is her third diving catch, and she comes away with the snow cone this time. Georgia's going to look to use this momentum and take the lead next inning.
NCAA Softball Regionals is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Finally, for some crooked numbers out of the Athens Regional, you finally found it here. 9-9 our scores. We go to the bottom of the sixth inning. These two teams combining for 18 runs on 19 hits. Georgia once again getting it done via the long ball. We have had some big home runs, including by Sarah Mosley a couple of at-bats ago. She had that huge 3-run shot back in the third. And that was what had given Georgia the slim 4-3 lead. Duke took it right back with a 4-run fourth. Ripped up the middle. Leadoff hitter is on.
The way these Georgia swings are coming through the zone, it just feels like it's perfectly matched up with how Peyton St. George throws. They're just not missing. Even in the game yesterday, there was a lot of hard hit balls. Yeah, she struck out 10, but you still felt like Georgia was right on her. And this game, that really opened up.
Kearney delivers a single into right. They are really seeing Peyton St. George well, and you just wonder if all of those innings, might be getting to her. You see shifting her arm around, doing some arm circles. 80 pitches in this game so far after a busy weekend.
I mean, honestly, Alex, I don't think it is the mental or the physical fatigue right now for St. George. As you see the ball strike distribution, 41 strikes, 39 balls. That's pretty close right there. I really do think that she's trying to stay mentally tough right now, and she's a little frazzled out there. She just isn't able to get into her comfortable groove.
Out to left center, and it splits the gap. Mosley motors around third. The throw gets away. They'll tag the runner at third base, Kearney, but Mosley's in there to give Georgia the lead here in the bottom of the 6th.
And who from but the freshman superstar right now, Sydney Chambly. And she goes
She's
into
a triple
the season
shy of the cycle here, Francesca.
She goes into this season unsure if she's going to have a starting position, and she stepped up big this entire regional, being able to get this huge double as Mosley scores the go-ahead run from the freshman.
Chambly with a couple of runs knocked in. A single, a home run, and a double. Mackenzie Puckett will pinch hit now here for Peyton Bordeaux. So it's officially down in the books as a single for Chambly. She goes to second on the throw. And that throw is scored 7-6-5. So one out for Puckett and an insurance run on second. Got the sky ball that time over to Tapia. And she gloves it in fair ground, 2 away. So now with Georgia taking the lead here in the bottom of the 6th, that means that there are 3 outs remaining in Duke's season. They need to beat Georgia not once but twice here in the regional final to get to their first supers in program history. Georgia can get 3 outs. They're going for their 11th time. And the difference between being down 1 run and 2 runs, Francesca, put it into perspective for us.
I mean, this entire ball game just has been hard fought. So yeah, when you have just 1 run versus the 2, you know that you have to get more runners on, but the pressure's there.
Armistead skies it high to George. PSG gloves it, but not before Sydney Chambly doubles in the go-ahead run in the bottom of the 6th. Duke's last chance when we come back to Athens. Jacobson, Cable, Boland trying to keep the season alive. Double could be what puts Georgia into the Super Regionals. We're going to the top of the 7th here in Athens. Alex Perlman, Francesca Anea back with you. And Francesca, we now know the Blue Devils have only 3 outs remaining in their season. How do they lock in mentally after all of these games coming out of the loser's bracket to try to keep this one alive?
Well, you still have to be in fight mode. If you think, oh, I only have 3 more outs left and the season might be over, then you're done. You have to still stay at bat towards at bat and stay fighting, stay gritty in it.
Mary Wilson Avant deals to Caroline Jacobson. Duke needs a run to keep their season going. If Georgia can get 3 outs before that happens, they advance to their 11th Super Regionals in program history. Duke is trying to keep the dream alive and force a winner-take-all game 7. The numbers certainly don't help Duke here. Georgia a perfect 20-0 when leading after 6 innings this year. Duke making their first ACC championship run. Got their first 40-win season. First NCAA tournament berth. First national seed. First regional final appearance. Do they have one last rally? In her 4th season, Marissa Young has taken this program to unprecedented heights. The architect of Duke softball took the job in July 2015, 2.5 years before this team even started competing. She's built it her way and built it into a champion. And there's a leadoff walk to Jacobson. The tying run is on for Duke.
Let's not forget how Duke was able to manufacture that late inning run in that 12-inning game yesterday. All started with a lead-off walk. Same situation that we're having right here with Jacobson. Those walks always tend to come back and haunt you.
And we'll see a pinch runner over at first base. Jazz Moreno. Moreno, who lost the catching job, pushed out by freshman Kelly Torres, has remained nothing but upbeat. Helpful to Torres, and now she gets an opportunity to potentially tie this game up over at first. A lot of responsibility on her shoulders right now for the grad student out of Elk Grove, California. Cable puts the bunt down, and it's successful. The tying run for Duke now in scoring position.
See, Georgia's going to call timeout and kind of gather up in the infield. You know, when you're a veteran, you start seeing some signs of scary, meaning the leadoff walk. Okay, executing the first pinch sac bunt, tying run in scoring position. So you just try to get yourselves in there, calm yourselves down, remind yourselves of the plan, and get out of this. You have the edge if you're Georgia.
2 outs left in Duke's season. Sydney Bolin now. Well, she was going for the lead with that swing. Bolin has been one of the better players offensively for Duke in this NCAA regionals. She is 1 for 3 today. In the game against Georgia, she was 2 for 3 though, with a couple of doubles, or one double that is, and a base hit. She had by far the most success against Avant because Duke didn't have any other hits. It's an easy choice right there.
Too. Yeah.
Base hit could tie the game. Duke's offense about the exact opposite of what we have seen up till this point. Bolin ripped to center, and Kearney tracks it down, glides over to glove it. Duke down to its final out.
I think if you were a Duke fan, even a Georgia fan, you held your breath when this ball got off of the bat. But thankfully that you have your center fielder there, and Avant understands how big that was. She's pointing at her saying, way to go.
And now it's up to Christina Foreman. 2-run home run her last time up. One more out and Georgia's into the Super Regionals. Foreman pops it up. Shallow center. Kuma has it. Georgia celebrates. On their home field, the Bulldogs are going back to the Super Regionals. A remarkable program-changing season for Duke comes to a close. First ACC tournament championship, first NCAA tournament win, got all the way to the regional finals, but the Bulldogs were too much here in Athens, and they outlast Duke. 10-9 is the final, and they are on to their 11th Super Regionals in program history. So the bracket tied up here in Athens. Georgia advances, and they will go to the Super Regionals. Thanks so much for joining us here in Athens all weekend long. With Francesca Anea, I'm Alex Perlman saying so long. We will send you to LSU in Louisiana. Alex Loeb and Megan Willis, all yours.